Hello there. Thank you for attending today's executive webinar session at AnyWare Apps by Kerr Consulting. AnyWare Apps are modern and AI-powered enterprise software products for digital business transformation. To learn more about AnyWare Apps by Kerr Consulting, please visit www.anywareapps.com or www.kerrconsulting.com. Now, let's get started today's executive webinar session. I would like to introduce Kevin DeVecchi from AnyWare Apps. Kevin, would you like to take it from here? Thank you.
John, thank you very much for introductions. Much appreciated. This is Kevin DeVecchi at AnyWare Apps. I am the product lead at AnyWare Apps by Kerr Consulting. Today, we are excited to talk about ISO 13485 for medical device industry. To learn about fundamentals of ISO 13485, we have Alex Kvartirov from Emras Consulting. He is the president of the company, and Alex has decades of ISO experience in his professional career. Also today, there is Batu Satılmış with us. He is a pre-sales software specialist at AnyWare Apps. After Alex's educational presentation, Batu will perform a demonstration of quality assurance anywhere and show you how you can comply with ISO 13485 for medical device industry in a digital and paperless environment. Before further ado, I'd like to invite Alex to our virtual stage. Let's learn about the fundamentals of ISO 13485 from Alex, and we'll take it from there. Alex, if you're ready, please, I'd like to invite you to our virtual stage, and please take it from here. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining this webinar. And Kevin, thank you for inviting me for this short overview of ISO 13485. Okay, so this particular ISO is intended for the development and manufacturing of medical devices. Obviously, since medical devices, there's a lot of safety aspects related to it. This particular ISO does add some additional requirements, which we'll address shortly. So this is be a very brief overview of what this ISO is all about. So before I start the presentation, I just want to very briefly introduce myself and my company, Emras Consulting. I personally am a certified ISO 9001 lead auditor, and I'm the sole proprietor of Emras Consulting. Now, I established my business back in 2015 after a lengthy career as a project manager in a large aerospace company, which is certified to the AS 9100 quality standard. The AS 9100 standard applies to aerospace and military applications. So currently, I provide consulting services and training for various businesses, small or medium-sized businesses, to help them achieve and maintain ISO certification. And I'm also a business partner of American Workflows Enterprise Software Company to support the application of its software tools and provide some assistance to businesses in using these tools to manage the ISO environment. And then I do some webinars and lectures on various ISO topics. So before I specifically address the ISO 13485 requirements, I just want to introduce on the top level what are the ISO quality management principles. And again, those principles apply to any ISO. Okay, so obviously the first one, as you can see, is customer focus. This, you gotta really satisfy your customer in different ways, and the most important way is to obviously deliver to him a product that he wants. In other words, with whatever the requirements were, he expects that when the product is delivered, it will meet all those requirements. And second of all, he expects the product to be delivered on schedule. So those are the two most important aspects of customer focus. And obviously there are other important activities that you need to support. Namely, if the customer has any issues, you should really maintain a very open door and try to resolve any problems that he may have with your products. Then the next principle is leadership. Of course, it's very important that the company management embraces the requirements of ISO, and obviously without their involvement, ISO will not be implemented properly. So it's very important that the leadership really takes hold of all the principles and manages the quality management system properly. And obviously all of this has to flow down throughout the organization. So all the people have to be engaged and they have to understand what is their contribution to quality. This is important that each individual is involved on the project. He has some contribution to improve the quality. The next important principle is process approach. Whatever your business is, you should have identified processes, and also it's very important that the processes be fully integrated. And this way it helps you to control your business, and it is then much easier to manage your business because now it's broken down into separate processes that have their internal goals. So the next important principle is continuous improvement. No matter how well you think your company is operating, there's always room for improvement. However, the next principle is you make decisions, obviously to make improvements, based on evidence. It's really important that you gather enough information, data, to then, based on the data, to make which improvements do you plan to make. So that's much more, it'd be much more valuable to make those improvements based on the actual data that was collected rather than just guessing and haphazardly make decisions for improvement. And the final principle is relationship management. That management has to be involved in all the aspects of the business, not just dealing with employees and customers, but also with the regulatory organizations, and if you have unions, but the entire of the people that are affected by the organization, which does include possibly investors. It's important to maintain a relationship with all of the parties. Okay, so let's go on now to look at some of the details of what ISO consists of. And I just wanted to compare 13485 to the standard ISO, which is the 9001. And there are some differences. because, again, of the nature of the medical equipment. So as you can see, I have two charts here. One on the left side deals with the ISO 9001 clauses, and on the right is the 13485 clauses. Now it's interesting that the 13485 has adopted more of the older version of the ISO 9001, which went back to 2008. So it pretty much follows that structure, and it also pretty much follows the earlier version of 13485, which was dated back in 2003. So usually most of the ISOs followed the 9001 clauses, but 13485 does not. Even though, if you see, there has a very close relationship to one another. Obviously, clause 4 deals with quality management system. It does not deal with the context of the organization. It was decided that that's not really required for the medical devices. Management responsibility, that's really leadership. It's basically the same thing. Resource management, again, they have resources. So it does include that, specifically the plan. Obviously, you should do the planning in order to achieve success. Product realization, that's your operational phase. And measurement, analysis, and improvement, that's when you look at your final product and then you analyze what are some of the deficiencies and then make a decisions on making improvements. So that's kind of combines clauses 9 and 10 in the ISO 9001 structure. So basically, similar approach with some minor differences. So now let's look at the specific requirements of the ISO 13485. So the first thing, obviously very important, is there's documentation requirements for your medical device files. So whatever product you are developing, you should have all of the requirements for that particular product. Very detailed requirements need to be generated. The work environment. Obviously, since you're building medical devices, the work environment has to be very clean, contamination free, and all of that has to be addressed in the requirements of the ISO. Contamination control requirements. How do you prevent contamination from creeping into your products? Also, the part of the production requirements to make sure that it's a very clean environment that it has to be manufactured in. And again, depending on the nature of the product, that may require a lot of specific equipment, and also the appropriate protective clothing and so on that's required for the workers that are working on the equipment. So all of that has to be clearly identified in your organization. Also, if you are developing sterile medical devices, then obviously you need special requirements for these. And also, since you're involved with medical equipment, you will have to report your status and progress to the regulatory authorities. So again, you have to maintain data to satisfy them. Now, some recent additions to the 13485 that they've added IT. into the infrastructure. So obviously there's so much information that has to be collected and maintained that the IT department definitely has a role in this process. Okay, contamination control. Again, they're emphasizing obviously how you are going to prevent from contamination affecting the product. Also, another requirement is a procedure. How do you transfer the design output to manufacturing? So it's important that this particular step is planned because sometimes going into manufacturing requires, especially if it's large volume, requires special consideration, equipment, and so on. And also, there's very important is to maintain reports and handling of any defects and complaints. So that either whether they're defects that are identified as part of your testing process or complaints coming from the customer, all of these have to be, all the information has to be maintained and kept in your files. Okay, so ISO 13485 does require certain documents, procedures, and records. And records are the data that you collect as part of this quality management system. Now, of course, what kind of records you have depends on the product that you're building, but and you'll see here, these are some of the required records. So you need to have a matrix for all the documents and records needed to support each of the ISO clauses. So each clause requires you to maintain certain documents, and also you will have to collect information, data, or what's called in the ISO world as records. So the medical ISO does require a lot more documents, procedures than is required in the ISO 9001. And all of the processes that you have established as part of your activity, part of your part of the effort in developing the product must be documented, and the process that you've identified must clearly follow. So I've identified here some of the mandatory both documents and the records required for 13485, and again it shows what they are. Quality manual is required where it's not required in ISO 9001. Some procedures for the validation of the application of computer software. Also, written quality agreements with your suppliers must be defined, and they definitely, ISO requires that for that to be in writing. And then on the right side, the mandatory records, a lot to do with the records that you maintain for validating your software activities. So for the devices, the medical devices will have a file, a data file associated, which defines its requirements and performance. Obviously, test data would be included in this medical device file. Very important is records of management reviews. Those are reviews that are held by management, and part of those reviews is to go over the quality management activities, what is going on, what are some of the issues, what are the problems, and those management reviews, they're held quarterly or even monthly. Very important to maintain the education and the training that is required for the employees to perform their function. And obviously, training in the safety or even the working in a contamination-free environment would be very important if that's required. So obviously a record of all the maintenance activities and a record of risk management activities. So obviously there are a lot of risks involved in manufacturing such equipment, and those risks have to be managed. And that's part of your mandatory records for this particular ISO. So here are some suggested key procedures for establishing your QMS. Again, this is very generic. In your particular environment, due to the nature of the product, you probably will have a lot of other procedures that are needed, but those are certainly kind of a minimal set that each organization involved in the development of medical equipment should have. Discuss management responsibilities, how management is controlling the QMS, change management. How do you control changes? It's very important that changes be managed properly and not left to individual employees to make decisions and then making changes and not informing anybody else. So there should be a formal process of making changes, making sure that management agrees with it and signs off on them. Documentation and record control. That's, again, a very important part. All your documents should be under configuration control. Again, managing the changes is very important. The document draft change should be sent out to the cognizant parties, and they should review it and then sign off after making suggested recommendations to the changes. Records should be, again, under configuration control. Training, okay, obviously there's a lot of training because not only a training on working on the equipment, but also on meeting the regulatory requirements. Design and development standards, again, that should, the company should have internally some standards of how you design and develop your. For risk management, there are a lot of risks in this business, so risks have to be managed. Corrective action, and corrective and preventive action. That's, again, important with any business, of how to deal with discrepancies and really how to prevent them. You will always get some discrepancies as part of your manufacturing process, and also hopefully only a few, but you will get some discrepancies from the customer. So all of these have to be managed and addressed. Supplier control, that's very important, because if you rely on certain components from your supplier, they have to meet the same standards that you're meeting for your final product. Otherwise, your quality management system would be ineffective. The equipment that you're using has to be calibrated and controlled. So that's very important part of the quality management system. Planning your resources. Resources is both equipment and personnel. You need to know what you need to successfully complete the job. And then obviously have the processes for both the development, design and development, and for production control. So again, those are, I would say, a minimal set of procedures, but depending on your business, you may have a lot more of them. So what are some of the challenges dealing with QMS? And I guess they really apply not only to the medical field, but to any manufacturing industry. So first of all, paperwork that is not centralized, but is scattered throughout the organization or site is a problem, because now you have to go after, and even though it could be in digital, various laptops, computers, and not centralized, you may have difficulty in identifying the information you're looking for. Now, obviously, maintaining documentation is could be a manual effort, and it's could be involved. And again, if you had a software tool that could perform those functions, then obviously it'll reduce the effort in maintaining the documents. Okay, means to verify that the procedures and processes are implemented. So again, that's part of quality. Somebody should be looking at and verifying what is the procedure and the processes that are identified, and making sure that they're being followed. If they're not being followed, then that should be elevated. And if necessary, if the procedures and processes have to be modified, it should be done. But it should be done through a change process that you've established. So in other words, it should be reviewed by management chain, and if agreed to, then the procedures and processes should be adjusted and then formally released. Now, obviously, I mentioned before that a lot of the decisions for improvement, for the continuous improvement, is really based on the data that's being collected. Now, if again, the data is not readily available and accessible, then it really be very hard to use it. So again, maintaining the data so it's very accessible for analysis is very important. And again, this is where a software tool would be very helpful in maintaining the data and be able to access it readily. Lack of a central repository for documentation and your records and corrective actions and so on creates a problem. And again, the availability of a software tool that can be the central repository, that would be a tremendous benefit. And it's hard to sometimes follow up on corrective actions to make sure that they're done. It's in a lot of cases, corrective actions are identified and there's no follow-up, and they just are never completed. Again, a tool that keeps track identifies what the corrective actions are, who is it assigned to, what is the deadline. This will really help management in seeing all the actions that have to be taken, and then they can see that those are actually worked on. So the tool could be very helpful to address this particular problem. And also, as you know, once you obtain certification, ISO certification, you have to perform a surveillance audit every year to make sure that you are still meeting all of the QMS requirements according to ISO. So in order to support such audits, having a central repository for all of the required data would be very beneficial rather than having the data scattered throughout the company. So when the auditor comes, you have to go and go to one department, another department, and really it really annoys the auditors. But they have to wait while you search for the support data. So again, centralized data makes life a lot easier when you have to support the audits. So again, like I want to stress that having a software tool is very important, and certainly Kevin will then discuss what some of the tools that he has available and how they can help you supporting your quality management system. So again, thank you very much for your attention, and I'm going to turn this over now to Kevin. Again, thank you.
Alex, thank you very much for the informative presentation. Much appreciated. It was very important for us to learn about the fundamentals of ISO 13485 and why it is important for medical device industries to comply with ISO 13485. Well, as we saw during Alex's educational presentation, there are many different requirements of ISO 13485 for compliance requirements. And also, there is a way to comply with ISO 13485 in a digital and paperless environment. Having said that, I'd like to invite Batu Satılmış to our virtual stage. Batu will perform the demonstration of quality assurance anywhere, and he'll show you how you can comply with ISO 13485 digitally on quality assurance anywhere. You can manage your policies, procedures, instructions, your audits, training activities, and many other operations digitally on quality assurance anywhere. All right, Batu, if you are ready, please take over the screen and please show us and tell us about quality assurance anywhere and how one can comply ISO 13485 on quality assurance anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Today, we are going to be talking about the quality assurance anywhere. And now, let's get started. All right, so as you can see in the screen, we split it into two. On the left, we have searching for information, and on the right, we have adding information. Now, within quality assurance anywhere, we search using basically safe searches on the left, as you can see right now. Now, these searches can be configured to be as general as or as wide as you like. And then on the right side, with adding information, we work with something called safe profiles. And the safe profiles are a structure from, if you will, for us to, prompt the right information to index a document and take all that kind of key metadata that you need when a user upload a document. We can also see these safe profiles, we can call them folders as well. As you can see, we have several folders. This can be a incident management, audit management folder, risk management folder, and so forth. In order to upload a document, simply we can click on, for example, I want to upload something about incident management, right? I can click on it, and I'll be choosing which form I'm going to be posting from my laptop. And once it's done, the document upload will go on the left side, which is a search profile under incident management. Now let's go one up to our existing search profiles. Let's go with escape compliance document, for example. Right? Once you click on it, as you can see, we uploaded one document. We have this document called escape compliance document. So when you click on it, we can go in more in detail. And we can also see the document on the right side after it's downloading. It's almost, here we go. So as you can see on the right, we can see the whole document in a PDF form. Scroll down a little bit. Here we go. And on the left side, we have the document information, such as we can see the document title, and we can also see the system properties. Under that, we can see who created this specific document, when is it created. We can also see the document ID, and ingested through, that means it's ingested through that safe profile, like on the right side, we call them folder. So it ingested through the SQF compliance document folder. Again, last updated by this person, and you can see the last update and so on. Also, you can also see the attachments and versions as well. In order to see the attachments and versions for this document that is on the bottom left here, as you can see, we have the one version of it, so you can also see the one. And if you want to see a little bit more detail, you can either add a new version from here, and you can either download this, delete this, and if you want to see information, you can click on the file info. As you can see, it's version 1 with the file ID. We can see where it's ingested, who ingested it, and so on. All right, so we are in the compliance project management. The first thing you'll see is all the tasks that are assigned to me. Under that, these are all the active ones, as you can see right here, all the active tasks that are assigned to me with their status, their task name, steps, if there's any, their project name, last activity, their due dates, created on, their priority levels, the messages, and lastly, their owners. The owners are who created this specific task. If you want to see the completed ones, we can simply switch to completed, and you'll see all your completed tasks that are assigned to me. All right, so once we click on a specific task, for example, let's go with SQF compliance document, right? As you can see, this is a task created by 8 days ago, and you can see all your participants and their decisions. As you can see, they're all pending. You also have a progress, if you from your end. So I log in as my user and I progress, let's just say 20% today. So I can simply say update, and as you can see, progress updated successfully. And on the bottom right, you can see the person who's updated the task progress to 20%. So whatever you make inside the task, you can see it under activities. So let's choose a different task. Let's go with, for example, ISO 9001, document review by department. Okay. So as you can see, 13% of this task has been completed. And again, if you want to adjust the progress, I can adjust my progress by dragging here. Let's do 20% again. As you can see, I can do that. Or I can make a decision. As you can see, if it's completed, I can say completed and click on update, and my end will be completed. So right now we show pending. If I hit on complete, it will show complete. Again, I was talking about activities. So under activities, you can see every detail under the activities. So as you can see the text progress, we can write messages to other participants, and so forth. We can also add attachment tool here as well. As you can see, we have auto train PDF document. So as you can see, once we click on it, we can see the document in more detail, as you can see right here. We can attach as many files or documents as we want. We can attach them by the URL or files from inside the system, or we can attach it through our local computer. All right, so this is how we can review all the tasks that are assigned to me. We can also manage all the tasks managed by me. So it's the same concept. You can see our status, task name, and so forth, right? So let's go click on one example one, for example. For example, let's click on this one. Again, this is a simple task. It's we're creating a user and roles for your department. So this one with steps, as you can see, we have 3 steps with all their participants and their decision. As you can see, one of them are completed and all the other 3 is pending. On the right, we have all the activities that we can see the history. And this is the first step. When all these participants shows completed, this task will automatically be moved to the step 2. And it's the same concept. Everyone will need to make their decision complete and they will go to step 3. So this is how we arrange steps inside the task. All right, so these are all the tasks managed by me. If you want to add a brand new task, right? So we have that on the top right. We can create new tasks or new projects, right? So actually, let's talk about the new project first. So if you want to create a brand new project, we can do that through here as well. In order to do that, we're going to be hitting on the new project button. Then we're going to have to hit the project name, project description. We're going to put the due date of the project, and we can also select the second in charge for the project as well, that person. After that's all done, field, we can create the project through here. If you want to create a simple task, We can do that here as well by clicking on a new task. We're gonna have to put the task name, task description, and the project. So inside the system, we have two ways to create a task. We can either create a task individually, which I'm doing right now, or we can create a task connected to a specific project. If you want to connect to a specific project, we can do that through here by choosing the specific project. Then again, task name, description, the message, and once we all done, once we create, that specific project will be connected to the specific project that we chose. All right. You can also here, you can click choose participants. You can hit on invite participants, and we can choose all the people who's going to be in this task. We can also add watchers as well. So what's watchers? Watchers are the people, I should say, they are not hands-on in the project, but they are like managing, right? Like viewers. So this can be a project manager or supervisor, admin, and so forth. So those are the watchers. Again, we have the option that attachments, and we can also manage decisions here. So I can add many decisions as I want. So I can complete, I can say add a decision called approve. As you can say, I have two, or reject it, I can say. So this is the way we can add or manage edit decisions. On the right, we can select the due date for this task. We can also adjust priority. We have highest, medium, low, or lowest. We can also choose a second in charge person for this task, and so forth. We can also create steps through here as well by clicking on steps, then step name, step description, and due date of that current step. We can also create task forms inside a task as well. In order to do that, we can hit on the task form. We can choose which task form are we going to be choosing. For example, we have the universal customer complaint form, we have the corrective action report, we have the ISO 9001 training record management, risk management, and so forth. So for example, let's go with the universal customer complaint form, right? In order to do that, we can put the customer, then the complaint. I'm just gonna say like test, and we can do the complaint date, right? We can choose the date of the complaint, then we can choose the location. I'm just gonna say this location is a New York branch. Then the complaint category, is it a product issue or a shipping delay, right? Let's go to product issue. Now we can do complaint detail. We can describe the task itself, or we can describe the complaint, the detail, and the product of the complaint. For this example, we just use XYZ product, and the root cause, right? So we can enter the root cause, the finish date, follow-up description, and lastly, we can do the follow-up action, right? And this is one way to do a random universal custom complaint form in a task environment. We also have a couple more task form as well. This was universal customer complaint form. We also have the risk management form, right? Again, under risk management, we can add the field code, field name, title node, entry type, field type, condition appearance, and their status. Let's go two more. We can always do with the industrial freezer checking form, for example, right? We can enter the document name of that form. We can enter the date, the time, the location, the apartment, humidity. We can put the freezer ID number with the freezer temperature, and lastly, we can put signature. For this, I'll just put my name as my signature. Then, if everything is done, we can hit create, and that will update our task form associated with the task name, or if there is any projects. All right, so this is how we can create the forms inside the task. Once we're all done, we can hit create, and that will create our brand new task connected to a project, or creating a task, individual task. If you want to see all our projects in one, we can do that as well. In order to do that, we have the top left under projects. As you can see, once we click on that, we can see all our projects. So let's just say, let's go example one. Let's go with this one, for example, industrial freezer checking, right? Under here, you can see the daily, weekly, or monthly views. So this is day. We can see weekly or monthly. Let's go back to day. As you can see, under here, we created 8 tasks for 8 shifts. As you can see, let's make this a little bit in order. Here we go. So we have shift 3, shift 2, shift 4, shift 6, 5, 8, and 7. So we created 8 shifts for 8 tasks. So let's go to, actually, I'm gonna hit complete one, and here we go. The shift 1 came up as well. So let's click on shift 1. As you can see, shift 1 is already completed, under this project. And as you can see, name of the task is shift 1, and only participant is currently me, and I make a decision as a complete. And we can also add form 0 as well. Below that, we connected a form for this specific task. So under this form, you can see the document title, date, time, location, the freeze ID number, and lastly, my signature as well. So when I click on save, that task will automatically be complete. So we can do the same thing for shift 2, for example. Let's click on shift 2. And again, we can see the name of the task, when it's created, and it's owned by me again. And below that, I can see all the participants, and I can make a decision, right? Is it complete or not for me, right? And below that, we have the form details, right? I'm gonna have to complete this in order to finish this shift 2. So after inputting all this information, I can click on save, and that will update my shift to 0% to 100%, which is completed. So this is basically how we manage our task inside the specific project. All right, now let's go back to task assigned to me. And this is it. Thank you, Kevin. Back to you.
Batu, thank you very much for the demonstration of quality assurance anywhere. So far, we talk about ISO 13485, fundamentals of ISO 13485 for medical device industry, what it is, why it is important for medical device companies, and what are the requirements of ISO 13485, followed by Batu's demonstration on quality assurance anywhere to see how one can comply with ISO 13485 in a digital environment. Now let's talk about AnyWare Apps on a high level, what they are, how they help companies digitize their business processes, and also we'll talk about features and benefits of AnyWare Apps in general in this session. AnyWare Apps by Kerr Consulting are standalone and Sage integrated software products for digital business transformation. Now let's talk about what are we offering in AnyWare Apps product portfolio. We have APS Anywhere, that is an advanced production capacity planning and production scheduling software for manufacturing. It helps manufacturing companies manage their production planning constraints and maximize their resources, man, machine, and material, so that they can have a productive manufacturing operation. Social CRM Anywhere is an AI-powered marketing automation and social media management software system. You can send unlimited number of emails. You can manage your customers, leads, prospects, your sales pipeline. You can also manage your customer meetings. It has natural integration with Outlook and Gmail Business Suite. When we look at quality assurance anywhere, as we demonstrated earlier today, that is a quality, risk, audit, training, and compliance management software. Companies comply with ISO, good manufacturing practices, SQF, BRC, FDA, HIPAA, and many other regulatory and quality management requirements with the help of quality assurance anywhere in a digital and paperless environment. AI-powered asset management anywhere is an AI-powered predictive machine health condition monitoring, predictive machine maintenance, and OE management software. With the help of this software, you can remotely monitor the health of your machinery and equipment, and this software, thanks to AI, triggers predictive maintenance work orders. And the system will tell you up to 3 months earlier if there is an anomaly in your machinery or equipment. Fundamentally, with the help of the software system, you eliminate the possibility of downtime. If you are looking for a more traditional CMMS system, EAM system, we have Classic Asset Management Anywhere, that is an enterprise asset maintenance facility fleet and energy management software system. You can manage your machinery equipment, your fleet, your buildings in this software system. You can also manage your periodic break and fix and preventive work order operations in the software. So number 4, AI powered. Number 5 is without AI. It's a classic CMMS and EAM software system. That's the difference. Some of our clients, they use both of them. Some of them, they use one of them. So it depends on your organization's need. These are standalone, modern, mature software systems will be helping your organization move forward. To digitize and automate business processes, we have no-code, easy-to-use workflow anywhere. That is a no-code business workflow digitization, automation, task management, project management, and document management software system. For more robust, more demanding, more complex workflow automation and digitization operations, we have low-code workflow anywhere, such as accounts payable automation, accounts receivable automation, and other automation needs that requires coding, as well as complex workflow management and automation requirements. Then we use low-code workflow anywhere. And coming up, AI-powered contract management anywhere, coming soon. That is an AI-powered vendor contract and customer contract management software system. It comes with AI. It triggers automatic contract renewals. It also calculates your risks that comes with your contracts so that you can take managerial actions to address those business risks accordingly. As you can tell, we have a very rich AnyWare Apps product portfolio, and we are expanding this product portfolio as they are standalone as well as integrated with Sage. And we have many different clients in different sizes. We work with small businesses, mid-sized businesses, as well as enterprise businesses in different industries. We have clients in aerospace, automotive, healthcare, medical device, manufacturing, nonprofit, pharmaceutical, and many other industries. We have clients and experience that we always welcome. All right, great. So that is about AnyWare Apps, about features and benefits of AnyWare Apps in general. I just wanted to share some insights with you. Before we end our session today, I'd like to invite you to our YouTube channel, AnyWare Apps YouTube channel. Please subscribe to our channel. We have many different videos that we periodically update and upload into our channel. And we talk about AnyWare Apps in general. We have informative videos. We also talk about digital transformation, manufacturing 4.0, and you can also watch some other webinars that we put together and we upload it into our YouTube channel. Great. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest in AnyWare Apps and today's executive webinar session. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our coming webinar series. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Jane, back to you.
Thank you for attending today's executive webinar session at AnyWare Apps by Kerr Consulting. AnyWare Apps are modern and AI-powered enterprise software products for digital business transformation. To learn more about AnyWare Apps by Kerr Consulting, please visit www.anywareapps.com or www.kerrconsulting.com. Thank you.